Well, friends, we just talked to the Esquire. That's my lawyer. He's going to send a status update. I told you, when you sue the government, it takes forever. Nobody cares, and he may just have caught him in the nick of time. Because, friends, it's the holidays. Today's Friday. He's going to send it off, and friends, this is just a nightmare. I'm literally living in the worst nightmare of my life, friends. But it's okay. I told you I'm spiritual. Look, everybody, I got a flat tire. The Grizzly truck is deadline, friends, and I got to change out the tire. I got to change it out, friends. There's a damn screw. There's a Phillips head screw in it somewhere. I'm getting ready to leave. I'm kind of frustrated that we don't have a decision yet. And there's a damn screw in here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the county park guy, they're just so thrilled I'm deadline. So look, friends, we're just going to get this thing changed. I'm going to show you how a damn man gets the damn job. Friends, listen, I got to talk to my children last night on the WhatsApp. Friends, it is, friends, I'm just in a twilight zone, you know. I'm really trying to understand what I did. Friends, you gotta understand something about me. When something bad happens to me, like when I get arrested, and friends, I don't ever get arrested. But friends, back in my drinking days, I did. I got arrested a couple times for drinking, friends. I wasn't really, well, friends, you're not supposed to be drinking and driving. But friends, I'm not the kind of guy that gets in any kind of trouble, everybody. I'm a law-abiding citizen, believe it or not. I just took a peaceful stand with this evil that came after me in the workplace. So friends, the Esquire is going to send off he's going to send it off today. And we probably won't hear an answer for another month, friends. Who knows? But friends, here's where the lawsuit stands. It's pending right now. The judge will make a decision, either toss it out, friends, that ain't going to happen, or the judge is going to go to trial, friends. And if we go to trial, that means the Bay Pines VA has to refute all the 10,000 pages of evidence. They have to refute the fact that President Trump got rid of all the DEI. They have to refute the fact that Chris Brown resigned and took the fork in the road. Friends, I mean, the lawsuit's done. The Lord already told me. It's just more patience. It's just more patience. It's more trust in God. I mean, I was hoping he was going to say, hey, good news, the lawsuit's done, and, we'll get your money here in the next couple months. I told him, I said, look, my wife's, she don't understand these things. My family don't want to have any understanding of it. Friends, anytime you go to court and run to the courts and do a lawsuit, or you run to your family and do the injunctions, friends, it's never quick and easy. It's going to be drawn out, and then there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering. I'm going to win the lawsuit, and I'm going to tell you why, everybody. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to win the damn lawsuit. Friends, everybody that was named in my lawsuit don't work for the government any longer. Friends, did you hear what I just said? Nobody in my lawsuit is going to be around to defend any of the allegations that I made on them, because they all had to resign. Hey, look, everybody, I'm so glad you joined. I got to change a flat tire. I got to go meet my Bell's bonds. I got to check in with my GPS, and I got a flat tire, friends. I mean, there's a screw. It's a Phillips head. But look, friends, I got the spare back there. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all what a man does, okay? A man changes this. And friends, I should have that done in 15 minutes. Y'all go ahead and start the timer. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. I mean, friends, if I didn't have bad luck, frame anything. All right. Let's do this. Let me find my work gloves. Where are they? A lot of y'all get a lot of pleasure watching all this trouble that I got to go through. I mean, look at it. It's literally going flat right now as we speak. Friends, the first thing you want to do is you just want to loosen them up. And friends, I gotta tell you a little secret here. Friends, this is the locking lug. You always put this in your glove box. Friends, if I had left this in my tool chest at home, if I had left this in my tool chest, friends, I wouldn't have a vehicle right now. Because I'm not even allowed to go back to my home, friends. Ain't that horrible? Friends, I didn't do that. Friends, that's what I'm saying. I've been trying to soul search and figure out what it is that led to me to get in this position. But there is no answer, friends. The only answer is God. God allowed the devil to trick all these people. I mean, I don't know, friends. Where's my gloves? Let me find my work gloves. Hold on. You always need some work gloves. Good grief, man. I tell you, friends, friends, I don't get frustrated with these things because I know how to fix them. And even if I didn't have that locking lug nut, if I didn't have the lug, I got a can of Fix-A-Flat in the back. Actually, I got quite a few of them. Friends, you want to lift with your knees. You want to push down. You don't want to hurt yourself. But look, you just want to get them loose. Friends, you want to make sure you're on a level incline, kind of not. But I got my emergency brake on. How many of y'all know how to do this? Not that many, huh? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. All right. All right, everybody. Now we're gonna go back here. Look, friends, your spare tire. Check it out. Believe it or not, the tire that came, the spare tire, friends, look, it's just getting flat right in front of us. The tire that came with this truck is actually it's a bigger one, and I like these a lot better. Friends, when she lied in the injunction, she said I was curled up on the floor, crying to Jesus, asking Jesus why he did this to me. Well, friends, I was under the truck because I was putting new struts. Look, friends, look at the new struts. Friends, I put new struts on the truck the day she lied. And look, friends, I didn't even cut off these things. These are brand spanking new, friends. I told you, when you lie, God does not like liars, friends, because we all know Satan's a liar. And friends, I pray if friends, I have not been able to go to court. I've tried to go to court 2 times, and something always happens. Something always happens because the devil just wants, I don't know, friends. All right, very gingerly. Hold on, is that even in there? All right, there we go, friends. Look, it kind of clicks in, and then it's counterclockwise, everybody. Uh-oh, why is this not working? Hold on, get this thing in there. Why is this not working? Hold on. Oh, this would be a problem if I can't get this out. Okay, why is it not working? All right, maybe that's it. Friends, you must learn how to do this stuff. This is called self-recovery. All right, there we are. Counterclockwise, everybody. It'll come right down. Friends, in Afghanistan, I crashed the Humvee 2 times in one day. And we had to replace the wheel, but we got back to the base. I bent the Humvee wheel, the actual wheel where the tire goes on. And we always carry a spare one, so we had a forklift on Fob Apache. So we were able to go ahead and get it squared away. Uh-oh. All right. There we are. Just got to kind of take it out of there. Oh, come on now. All right. Yeah, friends, look, this thing's a little bigger than the other ones. Come on. Friends, what time? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Look, this one's get all of them. I need to get them all big. All right, there's that right there. Now, friends, I'm going to show you a little safety tip. When you do this stuff, friends, shut that door. Friends, you want to put your spare under the truck in case the truck falls or the jack collapses. It won't crush you. Just a safety. If it collapses, it'll destroy the tire. It won't kill me. Now, friends, this is a 20-ton jack. Believe it or not, I bought this last year when my wife did this nonsense to me. There we go. Now you got to close the jack all the way. It's counterclockwise. It's a cylinder. It's a cylinder, friends. It's hydraulics. All right. Well, I didn't want to sweat through my shirt. I told you, friends, I'm out in the wilderness. I'm a man. I'm a stinking man. All right, everybody. Now we got to find the right spot for the jack. believe it or not, last year I had like 2 or 3 flat tires during the last domestic injunction that this lady did on me. All right. Maybe we can get by right here. Hold on. Here, y'all come on over here. Friends, you got to be very careful. So I'm not using the jack that came with the truck. About the 20 ton. Because the jack that comes with these things, I mean, they get the job done, but mainly I bought this jack for the bug out trailer that friends, if y'all want to buy my little bug out trailer, I got to sell it. I'll give y'all a good deal. I'll sell it to y'all for $1,000. It's like a farm trailer. You know, it don't have no title, unfortunately. All right, we just got to push this. This thing's called a bottle jack. All right, there we are. Now I got to do this all the way up to the top, and then look, friends, you crank it all the way back. Are y'all watching? Is my volume working? Okay, we got a couple people watching. Look, friends, we're gonna put it right up under here. I think that'll work just fine. Hold on now, hold on. But you don't want it to slip off, friends. You gotta be very careful. I'm on as level ground as I could find from where I'm at, so this should be good. Okay, crank it back. Turn the sucker around. You just go up a little bit just to make sure that the weight's holding. And you got to change. When I do the tire, I do it real quick. Oh, this is wonderful. I want to get all nasty before I go see the Bells Buns, but that's okay. I'm going out to the cemetery after this, friends. Friends, I handle my stress by going out in the cemeteries. That's how I handle my damn stress. All right, we're getting close. If I can't do this, I got a couple pieces of wood at the campsite I'll go grab. I may have to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go grab the wood. I don't think I'm gonna have enough space here. All right, that's okay, that's okay. So look, friends, we gotta run back to the campsite real quick. It's just right over here. Oh my goodness. Friends, how's y'all's Friday going? Friends, like I was telling you, I got to talk to my children last night. It was the hardest hour of my life, you know. For the first 15 minutes, I couldn't stop crying. Because, friends, my son don't understand these things. And my daughter, she understands because she was old enough to remember them last year. But my son kept saying, Daddy, come home right now, Daddy. Daddy, where are you? I want to hang out with you. I can't stand this evil, everyone. I got a screw in my tire. I got to grab some wood. You know, my middle daughter, she's kind of at the age where she kind of knows something's going on. But friends, the hardest part was my oldest daughter. She kept saying, Daddy, it's all our fault. It's all our fault, Daddy. She told me last night, she says, Daddy, if you and Mommy, look, friends, you got to get some wood. My oldest daughter said something that broke my heart, and my wife was standing right there, and she wasn't supposed to be in the room, but maybe she is. They give all the women all the power. My oldest daughter said, Daddy, I know why this happened. And I said, well, it's not your fault. She goes, if you and Mommy never had us, y'all wouldn't have had that argument that day. Mommy wouldn't have thrown her bag. My daughter said that. My daughter knows exactly what happened that day that my wife had her little episode. And my daughter told me that it's all her fault and her brother and sister's fault, that if they weren't born, that we wouldn't have argued. Because, friends, you understand, the day that my wife snapped on me, she did. She wanted to go to the YMCA because we didn't have any hot water in my home. And the day that I got the hot water was the day that she had me expedited and locked away in the loony bin. But I was out in a day and a half. But my daughter is suffering from depression. My 10-year-old daughter. She's internalizing that if mommy and daddy didn't have children, daddy wouldn't have minded mommy. Friends, the whole point of that day was, it is undisputed that people are after me. I got people doing evil in my comments. I got people telling me they're gonna come get me. So the last thing I want is my wife to go to the YMCA to take a hot shower and leave the children with a bunch of knuckleheads, friends. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. What is that? What is that? No. What the hell? Hold on. Friends, I told my wife to leave the children with me, and then she just wanted to go there and take a hot shower. But for some reason, she don't want to believe anything I say. She don't want to believe the lawsuit's real. She thinks that there's nothing wrong with the government, and that's fine. You know, I can't force the lady to understand reality. All right, that'll work. But friends, I told her, let me spend time with the children. I hadn't really hung out with them because I was doing my protest. I said, you go take your hot shower. You go take your hot shower and I'll watch the children. And then she blew up on me. She said, no, there ain't nobody after us. You're crazy. You're crazy. And then she said something in the video I have that says, ain't nobody going to kill us. Friends, I never said nothing about that. I just said, just leave the children with me. I said something like, you know, I do have people watching me and I don't trust most people. And neither should you folks. So friends, my oldest daughter is old enough to understand that it was because of the children that mommy blew up that day. And if there was no children, daddy wouldn't have had any issues with mommy going to shower at the YMCA. And friends, I don't care if she goes and does that. But there's no reason to leave the children, leave the children with me. I hadn't seen them. But friends, that exploded into the bag getting thrown in the air. And friends, her belongings hit the kids. I mean, I don't have a camera of that, but you can hear it. You can hear the audio on the Ring camera. Friends, it's just a nightmare, you know? Elevation. We should be able to get it. Now again, you want to make sure that this is turned clockwise, all the way clockwise. Because if not, it'll leak. All right, here we go. So friends, my oldest daughter is already starting to blame herself that our family's broken up. My oldest daughter is already starting to blame herself. And friends, when I was 14 and my dad left my mother, I started blaming myself too, friends. That's just what children do. Children don't understand all this grown-up stuff. Children don't understand mental illness. Children don't understand major depression. And friends, I'm not diagnosing my wife, but I don't suffer from any of those things, friends. I just don't suffer from them. But, you know, people want to say, oh, you were a combat guy and you suffered from alcohol and depression years ago. And friends, you know, I might have done that. That's none of y'all's damn business. But friends, you don't need to go see a mental health counselor or take drugs to get well. I chose to get spiritual, and Jesus healed me, friends. Jesus will heal anything. Oh, come on. But again, you can't force your spouse to get spiritual. You can't force your spouse to go get help. That's something that they got to do all on their own, And by God's design, it's actually being forced on my wife. My wife's seeing Dr. Damon die. I already know it because we still have a joint account. Oh, come on, why isn't this coming up? All right, friends, I'm so close, but good grief. Friends, I don't trust Dr. Damon Dye. He told me I had a $200 balance and he wasn't going to see me until I paid it. Uh-oh, hold on now. Oh, no. Hold on, friends. We all got to be safe here. Let's just let it down. Friends, when you do things like this, you got to be super careful. This wasn't all the way on the... All right, there you are. Let me just think real quick. Let me just think here. Turn. I don't know, friends. Like, at home, I'm able to do it pretty easily, but here... Let's try it again. Friends, you don't train to time, you train to standards. And I can't afford getting hurt. Who am I going to call to come help me? What, are y'all going to come out here and get this jack off my hand? Yeah, I didn't think so. But friends, we're very, 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 very carefully talking on the parenting app. And friends, I'm keeping it just to the children. I can't risk another violation, you know. if I ask about the bills, maybe I'll get a violation and spend a year in jail. I know the sheriff would love that. I just know they would. All right, everybody, let's pay attention here. Come on now. I lost a little fluid, but it should still be okay. Oh no, it's got to go up higher because the wheel's higher. Oh please. I may have to do the fix-a-flat and just take it to a mechanic. Oh, come on. I should have a little more. Let me think. All right, I'm off the ground. Okay, friends, we may be good. Okay. All right, we're pretty good here. All right, now you got to do this, friends. Very carefully. Can everybody see what we're doing? Now we're taking the lug nuts off. Friends, I've fixed probably 10 tires with the plug, you know. Believe it or not, my wife needs new tires on her van, you know. That was one thing I was trying to do literally before this whole nightmare blew up on us. I don't know. I don't want friends, how do I let my wife know we got to get her tires replaced without going to jail for a year? I mean, it does involve the children, right? The children are driving around in that van and literally it's bald in the front. And it is, friends, it's all true. Look, you want to put them all in one spot. All right, I think we're good. You always put the emergency brake on. Stinks, friends. These tires are brand new. I got them on last year because my tires were like going up. I had bulges in them. All right, everybody. Okay. I'm just gonna make room. I mean, the tire's off. I just gotta make sure I got enough room for the other one. Because it is just it's like an inch taller. All right, that should be good. All right, now we take this tire out. Hold on, everybody. Hold on now. Whoa. Okay. Very carefully. Oh, yeah. Look, right here. Oh, that's a big one, too. Good grief, you know. But look, friends, look. What'd I tell you? Whoa. Look, now you're going to slide this tire under there. Friends, in case this thing collapses, it'll slow it just a little bit. Oh my gosh, friends, my tire rolled away. That'd be horrible if I didn't have a tire and just rolled away. All right, here we are. Easy does it. Okay, that should be good. Come on, get on in there. Oh yeah. You want to be careful not to booger up the threads. I had some clown booger up my threads, so in the back of my truck, one of my studs, I can't thread it. All right, just kind of hand tight them. You got to get them started. That way it's safe. Friends, you always have to have a spare tire. I mean, if this had happened when I was out in the wilderness, I mean, I didn't have a spare, then you're stuck. Alrighty. You got to get them on hand tight as you can. I like these wheels better because they're just a little bigger than the other ones that came with the truck. All right. Hey, Big John's Bell Bonds, if you're watching, I'll be there in like an hour. My goodness. I'm not standing you up, my friend. I'll go sign my documents. All right. Friends, you always want to take your time with these things. You don't ever want to get hurt. People get killed when a vehicle falls on them. And friends, when you're done with the locking lug nut, it goes right back in your glove box. No excuses. Friends, when you tighten them, you want to go from here down to the bottom. That way it gets even. All right. Now we're gonna crank this sucker down. Go ahead and take the tire out. Go ahead and put this in the back of the truck. We'll do a plug on it later. I'll show you how to do a plug. All right, we're almost done. What do we got, 30 minutes? All right, ease down on the bottle jack. All right. Friends, it's a good habit to just keep this in the truck. Now, friends, we're not done. We got to crank down the lug nuts. And then you want to tighten this back up. Always do that. All right. Where does this go? That's right. It goes right back in the glove box. Damn, I got something biting my leg. What the hell is biting me? All right, we're almost there. I got like a fire ant biting my leg. There we are. You go right across. Friends, it's right across, so hold on. I got in the truck and I always check my air pressure, and the front tire was at 22, and I'm like, oh no. That can only mean one thing. So friends, what would you do if you were girly man and you didn't know how to do this? I guess you'd have to call somebody. Cost you a couple $100. Friends, if I had to come out here and do this to you, I'd charge you $200. There we are. All right, everybody. Clean up our little job site. We'll put our wood. All right, my goodness. Come on now. We're almost there. Oh my goodness. All right, everybody. And that's it, friends. It's just that easy. Hold on. So we just had to change the tire. That thing needs a little air. I just prayed to the Lord Jesus, and I don't have any more screws. All right, everybody. Hold on now. I got to roll back to the campsite. I need to get a towel. Holy smokes. All right. Wow, that was a lot of fun. Well, I still got to go to the cemetery and the Bell's bondsman, but now I get to show y'all how to plug a tire later. It's actually pretty easy. I don't know, that thing's pretty big, but friends, if the hole's clean, if it's a clean hole, it's not that hard to... Hold on. All right, friends, we're moving. Let me just roll back and grab a towel, a sweat towel. Oh my goodness, friends. Now, since I got the spare on the front, it doesn't have the little magnet that tells you the air pressure, so it won't give you a reading. But I'm gonna stop here in a minute and I'm gonna check all the air. And friends, while I'm at it, I need to check all the other tires. I mean, listen, come on. Where we live in the Tampa area, there is tons of construction and there's nails everywhere. And friends, sometimes people just throw them out on the streets to be evil. I'll be right back. All right, hold on, everybody. Y'all just hang on a second. Big John, I'm en route, sir. I'm en route. Please. I don't need Dog the Bounty Hunter to come find me. Oh, I gotta go get some money from my friend that bailed me out. All right, everybody. Let me plug in my ankle monitor so I can charge it up so the sheriff can know exactly where I'm at all times in the courts. Friends, I'm not even mad. Friends, this story, the Sgt Grizzlegrits Center of Excellence, this story is literally writing itself. And I was talking to one of my best friends, Maddie, last night, and he's right. I gotta start writing this. I gotta start writing the book, everybody. Oh yeah, it's charging. You hear it, friends? I gotta start writing the book. I mean, like every week there's another chapter in this nightmare that I'm in. But friends, it's not a nightmare. Again, when you learn to get spiritual. Friends, when you learn to get spiritual, these things don't bother you. I mean, minutes and I got a new tire on my truck. But friends, you gotta have that initiative. You have to plan for these things. If you don't... what is that saying? Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I should have done. Oh, hold on, friends. I'm sorry. The damn audio. All right, let's log it off. Try it again.